Here's a short video for the reject bin on an ATEC TCR. There are really maybe two or three times that you'll interact with this thing. So the reject bin receives notes only during a dispense when something has happened to those notes in the build path. They were double picked out of the cassette, or they got bent or folded along the way to being output to the customer. So as that happens, Enterprise Teller will tell you how many notes are in there, which notes that they are. You'll also be able to look at the front screen of the TCR, and it will tell you if there are notes in there, if it's something other than empty, and you could also go to the amount screen, and it would show you exactly what is in the divert or reject. So one of the things that we often do, no need to do the whole thing, but as we open a TCR, we'll lift up the CAM module, we'll lift up the middle module. We would separate out the divert bin by pushing down on this one lever. It's often hard for tellers to see since it's bladed. We would separate that to the back. That gives us the ability to lift up the upper module. That's not really what this video is about. There are other videos on jam clearance, but it does give us a good opportunity to see the front, the entranceway. This is actually where it would reject bins or notes, but this would be a good way to see just the output part of the reject. So I'm going to close some of this back up just so it's out of our way and looks more normal. The other time that you would interact with this reject box is during an audit or a biweekly cash count, as it's called. And even though the reject box is separated into manual transactions on Enterprise Teller, it does dispense notes automatically. So you would choose to empty that. That is actually how the biweekly cash count or audit starts, with emptying the reject. And if for any reason those notes don't fully empty, then you could try it one or two times, but the more times you try it, the more likely you are to get a jam if it doesn't clear on the first time. So you would use your normal cassette key. There is a lock on the reject box, and you would just stick that in and you would open it. Once you open that up, you would see kind of what you would expect to see. It just has a regular pressure plate, and there's a weight on top of this. And so if there were notes in it, we're going to leave this in. But if there were notes in, it would just look like this, and you would be able to remove them manually. What you could potentially see is a note that has been crumpled up, because this is designed to take care of notes that came through the build path in something other than a pristine state. And so switching back to the front of the machine, we started with an empty reject, and so now we've opened it with a key and it has money in it. So what we would expect to see is that there is an exclamation point, which really just means that it has been manipulated. And what we would also see is one segment of the bar graph next to the reject, also in red, indicating a manipulated status. It is important to remember that manipulated is not an error, it is just a status. To clear the manipulated status, a teammate should empty the reject bin from Enterprise Teller, or, if required, manually remove the notes from the reject bin, followed by an empty from Enterprise Teller.